Hi guys, Cornell's back. Today I'm going to read Exodus 26 to 30, Psalm 74, and Proverbs 17. Let's get started. Exodus 26 to 30. Make 10 curtains out of finely twisted linen for the holy tent. Make them with blue, purple, and bright red yarn. Have a skilled worker sew cherubim into the pattern. Make all the curtains the same size. They must be 42 feet long and 6 feet wide. Join 5 of the curtains together. Do the same thing with the other 5. Make loops out of blue strips of cloth along the edge of the end curtain in one set. Do the same thing with the end curtain in the other set. Make 50 loops on the end curtain of the one set. Do the same thing with the end curtain of the other set. Put the loops across from each other. Make 50 gold hooks. Use them to join the curtains together so that the holy tent is all one piece. Make a total of 11 curtains out of goat hair to put over the holy tent. They must be Make all 11 curtains the same size. They must be 45 feet long and 6 feet wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set. Do the same thing with the other 6. Fold the 6th curtain in half at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in the one set. Do the same thing with the other set. Then make 50 bronze hooks. Put them in the loops to join the tent together, all in one piece. Let the extra half curtain hang down at the rear of the holy tent. The tent curtains will be 18 inches longer on both sides. What is left over will hang over the sides of the holy tent and cover it. Make a covering for the tent. Make it out of ram skins that are dyed red. Put a covering of the other strong leather over that. Make frames out of acacia wood for the holy tent. Make each frame 15 feet long and 2 feet 3 inches wide. Add 2 small wooden pins to each frame. Make the pins stick out so that they are even with each other. Make all the frames for the holy tent in the same way. Make 20 frames for the south side of the holy tent. And make 40 silver bases to go under them. Make 2 bases for each frame. Put one under each pin that sticks out. For the north side of the holy tent, make 20 frames and 40 silver bases. Put 2 bases under each frame. Make 6 frames for the west end of the holy tent. Make 2 frames for the corners at the far end. At those 2 corners, the frames must be double from top to bottom. They must be fitted into a single ring. Make both of them the same. There will be 8 frames and 16 silver bases. There will be 2 bases under each frame. Also make crossbars out of acacia wood. Make 5 for the frames on one side of the holy tent. Make 5 for the frames on the other side. And make 5 for the frames on the west, at the far end of the holy tent. The center crossbar must reach from end to end at the middle of the frames. Cover the frames with gold. Make gold rings to hold the crossbars. Also cover the crossbars with gold. Set up the holy tent in keeping with the plan I showed you on the mountain. Make a curtain out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. Have a skilled worker sew cherubim into the pattern. Hang the curtain with gold hooks on 4 posts that are made out of acacia wood. Hang the posts with gold. Stand them on 4 silver bases. Hang the curtain from the hooks. Place the ark of the covenant beside the curtain. The curtain will separate the holy room from the most holy room. Put the cover on the ark of the covenant law in the most holy room. The cover will be the place where sin is paid for. Place the table outside the curtain on the north side of the holy tent, and put the lampstand across it on the south side. Make a curtain for the entrance to the tent. Make it out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. Have a person who sews skillfully make it. Make gold hooks for the curtain. Make 5 posts out of acacia wood. Cover them with gold. and make 5 bronze bases for them. Chapter 27. Build an altar out of acacia wood. It must be 4 feet 6 inches high and 7 feet 6 inches square. Make a horn stick out from each of its upper 4 corners. The horns and the altar must be all one piece. Cover the altar with bronze. Make everything for the altar out of bronze. Make its pots to remove the ashes. Make its shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and pans for carrying ashes. Make a bronze grate for the altar. Make a bronze ring for each of the 4 corners of the gate. Put the grate halfway up the altar on the inside. Make poles out of acacia wood for the altar. Cover them with bronze. Put the poles through the rings. They will be on 2 sides of the altar for carrying it. Make the altar out of boards. Leave it hollow. They must look just like what I showed you on the mountain. Make a courtyard for the holy tent. The south side must be 150 feet long. It must have curtains that are made out of finely twisted linen. The curtains must be hung on 20 posts out of 20 bronze bases. The posts must have silver hooks and bands on them. The north side must also be about 150 feet long. It must have curtains with 20 posts that have 20 bronze bases. The posts must have silver hooks and bands on them. The west end of the courtyard must be 75 feet wide. It must have curtains with 10 posts that have 10 bases. The east end of the courtyard, toward the sunrise, must also be 75 feet wide. On one side of the entrance, you must put curtains that are 6 inches long. Hang them on 3 posts. Each post must have a base. On the other side, you must also put curtains that are 22 feet 6 inches long. Hang them on 3 posts. Each post must have a base. For the entrance to the courtyard, provide a curtain 30 feet long. Make it out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. Have someone who sews skillfully make it. Hang it on 4 posts. Each post must have a base. All the posts that are around the courtyard must have silver bands and hooks. They must also have bronze bases. The courtyard must be 150 feet long and 75 feet wide. It must have curtains that are made out of finely twisted linen. They must be 7 feet 6 inches high. The posts must have bronze bases. Make out of bronze all the other things used for any purpose in the holy tent. That includes all the tent stakes for the tent and the courtyard. Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil made from pressed olives. Use it to keep the lamps burning and giving light. Aaron and his sons must keep the lamps burning in the tent of meeting. The lamps will be outside the curtain in front of the tablets of the covenant law. The lamps must be kept burning in front of the law from evening until morning. This is the law for the Israelites that will last for all time to come. Chapter 28. Have your brother Aaron brought to you from among the Israelites. His sons Nadab, Abihu, Elazar, and Ithamar must also be brought. They will serve me as priests. Make sacred clothes for your brother Aaron. When he is wearing them, people will honor him. They will have respect for him. Speak to all the skilled workers. I have given them the skill to do this kind of work. Tell them to make clothes for Aaron. He will wear them when he is set apart to serve me as a priest. The workers must make a chest cloth, a linen apron, and an outer robe. They must also make an inner robe, a turban, and a belt. They must make sacred clothes for your brother Aaron and his sons. Then they will serve me as priests. Have the workers use thin gold wire, and blue, purple, and bright red yarn, and fine linen. Make the linen apron out of thin gold wire, and out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn, and out of finely twisted linen. Have a skilled worker make it. It must have 2 shoulder straps joined to 2 of its corners. Its skillfully made waistband must be like the apron. The waistband must be part of the apron itself. Make the waistband out of thin gold wire and out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and out of finely twisted linen. Get 2 onyx stones. Carve the names of the sons of Israel on them. Arrange them in the order of their birth. Carve 6 names on one stone and 6 on the other. Carve the names of the sons of Israel on the 2 stones the way a jewel cutter would carve them. Then put the stones in fancy gold settings. Connect them to the shoulder straps of the linen apron. The stones will stand for the sons of Israel. Aaron must carry the names on the shoulders as a constant reminder while he is serving the Lord. Make fancy gold settings. Make 2 braided chains out of pure gold. Make them like ropes. Join the chains to the settings. Make a chest cloth that will be used for making decisions. Have a skilled worker make it. Make it like the linen apron. Use thin gold wire and blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. Make it 9 inches square. Fold it in half. Put 4 rows of valuable jewels on it. Put carnelian, chrysolite, and beryl in the first row. Put turquoise, lapis lazuli, and emerald in the second row. Put jacinth, agate, and amethyst in the third row. And put topaz, onyx, and jasper in the fourth row. Put them in fancy gold settings. Use a total of 12 stones. Use 1 for each of the names of the sons of Israel. Each stone must be carved with the name of one of the 12 tribes. Make braided chains out of pure gold for the chest cloth. Make them like ropes. Make 2 gold rings for the chest cloth. Connect them to 2 corners of it. Join the 2 gold chains to the rings at the corners of the chest cloth. Join the other ends of the chains to the 2 settings. Join them to the shoulder straps on the front of the linen apron. Make 2 gold rings. Connect them to the other 2 corners of the chest cloth. Put them on the inside edge next to the apron. Make 2 more gold rings. Connect them to the bottom of the shoulder straps on the front of the apron. Put them close to the seam. Put them right above the waistband of the apron. The rings of the chest cloth must be tied to the rings of the apron. Tie them to the waistband with blue cord. Then the chest cloth will not swing out from the linen apron. When Aaron enters the holy room, he will carry the names of the sons of Israel over his heart. Their names will be on the chest cloth of decision. They will be a continuing reminder while he is serving the Lord. Also put the Urim and Thummim into the chest cloth. Then they will be over Aaron's heart when he comes to serve the Lord. In that way, Aaron will always have what he needs to make decisions for the people of Israel. He will carry the Urim and Thummim over his heart while he is serving the Lord. Make the outer robe of the linen apron completely out of blue cloth. In the center of the robe, make an opening for the head of the priest. Make an edge like a collar around the opening. Then it will not tear. Make pomegranates out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn. Sew them around the hem of the robe. Sew gold bells between them. Sew a gold bell between every 2 pomegranates all around the hem of the robe. Aaron must wear the robe when he serves as priest. The bells will jingle when he enters the holy room while he is serving the Lord, and they will jingle when he goes out. Then he will not die. Make a plate out of pure gold. Carve words on it as if it were an official seal. Carve the word set apart for the Lord. Tie the plate to the front of the turban with a blue cord. Aaron must wear this plate on his forehead all the time. He will be held responsible for all the sacred gifts the Israelites set apart. And the Lord will accept the gifts. Make the inner robe out of fine linen, and make the turban out of fine linen. The belt must be made by a person who sews skillfully. Make inner robes, belts, and caps for Aaron's sons. When they are wearing them, people will honor his sons. They will also have respect for them. Put all these clothes on your brother Aaron and his sons. Then pour olive oil on them and prepare them to serve me. Set them apart to serve me as priests. Make linen underwear that reaches from the waist to the thigh. Aaron and the priests in his family line must wear it when they enter the tent of meeting. They must also wear it when they approach the altar to serve in the holy room. Then they will not be found guilty and die. For all time to come, that will be a law for Aaron and the priest in his family line. Chapter 29. Here's what you must do to set apart Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests. Get a young bull and 2 rams. They must not have any flaws. Get the finest wheat flour. Make round loaves of bread that do not have yeast in them. Make thick loaves of bread that do not have yeast in them. Mix olive oil into the thick loaves of bread. Also make thin loaves of bread that do not have yeast in them. Brush the thin loaves with olive oil. Put everything in a basket. Offer them along with the bull and the 2 rams. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance to the tent of meeting. Wash them with water. Take the inner robe, the outer robe of the linen apron, the apron itself, and the chest cloth. Dress Aaron in them. Take the skillfully made waistband and tie the apron on him with it. Put the turban on his head. Connect the sacred plate to the turban. Take the anointing oil and put it on his head. Bring his sons and dress them in their inner robes. Put caps on their heads. Tie belts on Aaron and his sons. The work of the priest belongs to them. This is my law that will last for all time to come. Then ye must prepare Aaron and his sons to serve me. Bring the bull to the front of the tent of meeting. Have Aaron and his sons place their hands on its head. Kill it in front of the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Dip your finger into some of the bull's blood. Put it on the horns that stick out from the upper 4 corners of the altar. Pour the rest of it out at the base of the altar. Then take all the fat on the inside parts. Take the long part of the liver. Get both kidneys with the fat on them, and burn all of it on the altar. But burn the bull's meat, hide, and guts outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Get one of the rams. Have Aaron and his sons place their hands on its head. Kill it. Take the blood and splash it against the sides of the altar. Cut the ram into pieces. Wash the inside parts and the legs. Put them with the head and the other pieces. Then burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to me. It has a pleasant smell. It is a food offering presented to the Lord. Get the other ram. Have Aaron and his sons place their hands on its head. Kill it. Put some of its blood on the right earlobes of Aaron and his sons. Put some on the thumbs of their right hands. Also put some on the big toes of their right feet. Then splash the blood against the sides of the altar. Get some of the blood from the altar. Also get some of the anointing oil. Sprinkle both of them on Aaron and his clothes and on his sons and their clothes. Then he and his sons and their clothes will be set apart to serve the Lord. Here's what you must take from this second ram. Take the fat tail, and the fat around the inside parts. Take the long part of the liver. Also take both kidneys with the fat on them, and use the right thigh. It is the ram you must use when you prepare the feast to serve the Lord. Get 1 round loaf of bread and 1 thick loaf of bread with olive oil mixed in. Also get 1 thin loaf of bread. Take them from the basket of bread made without yeast. It is the one in front of the Lord. Put all these things in the hands of Aaron and his sons. Tell them to lift them up and wave them in front of the Lord as a wave offering. Then take all these things from their hands. Burn them on the altar along with the burnt offering. Its smell pleases the Lord. It is a food offering presented to the Lord. Get the breast of the ram used when you prepare Aaron to serve the Lord. Wave it in front of the Lord as a wave offering. It will be your share of the meat. Here are the parts of the second ram that belong to Aaron and his sons. You must set apart the breast that was waved and the thigh that was offered. It will be the regular share from the Israelites for Aaron and his sons. The people must give it to the Lord from their fresh offerings. Aaron's sacred clothes will belong to his sons who will come after him. Then they can wear them when you anoint them and prepare to serve the Lord. The son who comes after Aaron as priest must wear them 7 days. He will come and serve in the holy ring in the tent of meeting. Get the ram sacrificed when you prepare Aaron and his sons to serve the Lord. Cook the meat in a sacred place. Aaron and his sons must eat the ram's meat, and they must eat the bread in the basket. They must eat all of it at the entrance to the tent of meeting. These are the offerings to pay for their sins. They must eat them. The offerings must be made when Aaron and his sons are set apart and prepared to serve the Lord. No one else can eat them. They are sacred. When you prepare Aaron and his sons to serve me, you will sacrifice the ram and the bread. If any parts of the ram or bread are left until morning, burn them up. They must not be eaten. They are sacred. Do everything I have commanded you to do for Aaron and his sons. Take 7 days when you prepare them to serve the Lord. Sacrifice a bull each day. It is a sin offering to pay for their sins. Make the altar pure. Pour olive oil on it to set it apart. Take 7 days to make the altar pure. Set it apart. Then the altar will be a very holy place. Anything that touches it will be holy. Every day sacrifice on the altar 2 lambs that are a year old. Sacrifice one in the morning and the other one when the sun goes down. Along with the first lamb, offer 3.5 pounds of fine flour. Mix it with a quart of oil from pressed olives. Along with that, sacrifice a quart of wine as a drink offering. Sacrifice the other lamb when the sun goes down. Sacrifice it along with the same grain offering and its drink offering as you do in the morning. It has a pleasant smell. It is a food offering presented to the Lord. For all time to come, this burnt offering must be sacrificed regularly. Sacrifice it at the entrance to the tent of meeting in front of the Lord. There I will meet with you and speak to you. There I will also meet with the people of Israel. My glory will make the place holy. So I will set apart the tent of meeting and the altar. And I will set apart Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests. Then I will live among the people of Israel, and I will be their God. They will know that I am the Lord their God. They will know that I brought them out of Egypt so I could live among them. I am the Lord their God. Chapter 30. Make an altar for burning incense. Make it out of acacia wood. It must be 1.5 feet square and 3 feet high. Make a horn stick out from each of its upper 4 corners. Cover the top, sides, and horns with pure gold. Put a strip of gold around it. Make 2 gold rings for the altar below the strip. Put the rings across from each other. They will hold the poles that are used to carry it. Make the poles out of acacia wood. Cover them with gold. Put the altar in front of the curtain that hangs in front of the ark. The ark is where the tablets of the covenant law are kept. The ark will have a cover. It will be the place where sin is paid for. There I will meet with you. Aaron must burn sweet-smelling incense on the altar. He must do it every morning when he takes care of the lamps. He must burn incense again when he lights the lamps at sunset. Incense must be burned regularly in front of the Lord. Do it for all time to come. Do not burn any other incense on the altar. Do not use the altar for burnt offerings or grain offerings. And do not pour drink offerings on it. Once a year, Aaron must put the blood of a sin offering on the horns of the altar. He must do this to make the altar pure. He must do this on the day Israel's sin is paid for. Do this for all time to come. The altar is a very holy place to me. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, make a list of the Israelites and count them. When you do, each one must pay the Lord for his life at the time he is counted. Then a plague will not come on them when you count them. Each one counted must pay 1/5 of an ounce of silver. It must be weighed down in keeping with the standard weights that are used in the sacred tent. The payment is an offering to the Lord. Each one counted must be 20 years old or more. He must give an offering to the Lord. When you make the offering, rich people must not give more than a fifth of an ounce of silver, and poor people must not give less. The offering you give to the Lord will pay for your lives. Receive the money from the people of Israel. Use it for any purpose in the tent of meeting. It will remind the people that they are paying me for their lives. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Make a large bronze bowl for washing. Make a bronze stand to put it on. Place the bowl between the tent of meeting and the altar. Put water in it. Aaron and his sons must wash their hands and feet with water from it. When they enter the tent of meeting, they must wash with water so that they will not die. They will come to the altar to serve me. They will bring a food offering to the Lord. When they do, they must wash their hands and feet so that they will not die. For all time to come, that will be a law for Aaron and the priests in his family line." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Get some fine spices. Get 12 pounds or 8 ounces of liquid myrrh. Get 6 pounds 4 ounces of sweet-smelling cinnamon and the same amount of sweet-smelling calamus. Also get 12 pounds 8 ounces of cassia. All the spices must be weighed out in keeping with the standard weights that are used in the secret tent. And get a gallon of olive oil. Have a person who makes perfume mix everything into a sacred anointing oil. It will smell sweet. Then use it to anoint the tent of meeting and the ark where the tablets of the covenant law are kept. Anoint the table for the holy bread and all its things. Anoint the lampstand and the things that are used with it. Anoint the altar for burning incense. Anoint the altar for burnt offerings and all its tools. And anoint the large bowl together with its stand. You must set them apart so that they will be very holy. Anything that touches them will be holy. Anoint Aaron and his sons. Set them apart so that they can serve me as priests. Say to the people of Israel, 'This will be my sacred anointing oil for all time to come. Do not pour it on anyone else's body. Do not make any other oil in the same way. It is sacred. So you must think of it as sacred. Suppose a person makes perfume in the same way. And suppose that person puts it on someone who is not a priest. Then that person must be separated from their people." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Get some sweet-smelling spices. Get some gum resin, onycha, and galbanum. Also get some pure frankincense. Make sure everything is in equal amounts. Have a person who makes perfume mix it all up into a sweet-smelling incense. It must have salt in it. It will be pure and sacred. Grind some of it into powder. Place it in front of the ark of the covenant law in the tent of meeting. There I will meet with you. The incense will be very holy to you. Do not make any incense for yourselves in the same way. Think of it as holy to the Lord. Whoever makes incense in the same way to enjoy its sweet smell must be separated from their people." Proverbs 17. It is better to eat a dry crust of bread in peace and quiet than to eat a big dinner in a house full of fighting. A wise son will rule over a shameful child. He will be given part of the property as if he were a family member. Fire to silver and heat to gold, but the Lord tests our hearts. Evil people listen to lies. Lying people listen to evil. Anyone who laughs at those who are poor makes fun of their maker. Anyone who is happy when others suffer will be punished. Grandchildren are like a crown to older people, and children are proud of their parents. Fancy words don't belong in the mouths of ungodly fools, and lies certainly don't belong in the mouths of rulers. Those who give money think it will buy them favors. They think that no matter where they turn, they will succeed. Whoever wants to show love forgives a wrong, but those who talk about it separate close friends. A person who understands what is right learns more from just warning than a foolish person learns from 100 strokes with a whip. An evil person tries to keep others from obeying God. The messenger of death will be sent against them. It is better to meet a bear whose cubs have been stolen than to meet a foolish person who is acting foolishly. Evil will never leave the house of anyone who pays back evil for good. Starting to argue is like making a crack in a dam, so drop the mail before a fight breaks out. The Lord hates two things. He hates it when the guilty are set free. He also hates it when those who aren't guilty are punished. Why should a foolish person try to buy wisdom? They are not even able to understand it. A friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. A person who has no sense agrees to pay what other people owe. It isn't wise to promise to pay other people's bills. The one who loves to argue loves to sin. The one who builds a high gate is just asking to be destroyed. If your heart is twisted, you won't succeed. If your tongue tells lies, you'll get into trouble. It is sad to have a foolish child. The parents of a godless fool have no joy. A cheerful heart makes you healthy, but a broken spirit dries you up. Anyone who does wrong accepts favors in secret. Then they turn what is right into what is wrong. Anyone who understands what is right keeps wisdom in view. But the eyes of a foolish person look everywhere else. A foolish child makes his father sad and his mother sorry. It isn't good to find those who are guilty. So it certainly isn't good to look for souls just because they are honest. Anyone who has knowledge controls their words. Anyone who has understanding is not easily upset. We think even foolish people are wise if they keep silent. We think they understand what is right if they control their tongues. Psalm 74. God, why have you turned your back on us for so long? Why are you so angry with us? We are your very own sheep. Remember the nation that you chose as your own so long ago. Remember that you set us free from slavery to be your very own people. Remember Mount Zion, where you lived. Walk through this place that has been torn down beyond repair. See how completely your enemies have destroyed the temple. In the place where you used to meet with us, your enemies have shouted, "We've won the battle." They have set up their flags to show they have beaten us. They acted like a people cutting down a forest with axes. They smashed all the beautiful wooden walls with their axes and hatchets. They burned your temple to the ground. They polluted the place where your name is. They had said in their hearts, "We will crush them completely." They burned every place where you were worshipped in the land. We don't get signs from God anymore. There aren't any prophets left. None of us will know how long that will last. God, how long will your enemies make fun of you? Will they attack you with their words forever? Why don't you help us? Why do you hold back your power? Use your strong power to destroy your enemies. God, you have been my king for a long time. You are the only God who can save anyone on earth. You parted the waters of the Red Sea by your power. You broke the heads of that sea monster in Egypt. You crushed the heads of the sea monster Leviathan. You fed it to the creatures of the desert. You opened up streams and springs. You dried up rivers that flow all year long. You rule over the day and the night. You created the sun and the moon. You decided where the borders of the earth would be. You made both summer and winter. Lord, remember how your enemies have made fun of you. Remember how foolish people have attacked you with their words. Don't hand over Israel, your dove, to those wild animals. Don't forget your suffering people forever. Honor the covenant you made with us. Horrible things are happening in every dark corner of the land. Don't let your suffering people be put to shame. May those who are poor and needy praise you. God, rise up. Stand up for your cause. Remember how foolish people make fun of you all day long. Pay close attention to the shouts of your enemies. The trouble they cause never stops. Now that's done, I shall now sing the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye. Okay.